Feminist Collective. Yay!
Yay.
And guess who's back? Peppur Chambers.
Hello. I was 3-1. What's up?
I am Crescent Muhammad, and my co-hosts are
Antoine Cowan.
Tina McDowell. Peppur Chambers.
we already said.
Oh, that's right.
That's all good. So very, very quickly, quick housekeeping, brief mentions. So in the Chicago shooting, there were 4 people who've been charged, and they seem to think that it was a some rival gang situation, and they just went firing into the park. Really? So Ron Emanuel is calling for. He's calling for tougher penalties, and how about this? Stop closing schools, and maybe we can get kids to like do better. How about that? Like, you want to talk about tougher penalties, jail wise, and
they are 2 different things, though.
They're related. So you close 50 schools, and now you're expecting kids to like travel across different neighborhoods. It's a mess. It's a mess. Just I'm saying, Ron, their solutions to the problems is just not all of what you think they are. Anyway, we're moving on. So last week I kind of went off a little bit about Diddy and Mayweather.
A little.
Whatever.
Lost your fucking mind.
Just a little bit, because I was aggravated by their gratuitous
There was
display
a
of wealth.
vein that came out.
I don't care.
It was scary. I was crying. I was like, what is going on?
Tina said she couldn't sleep that night. Like, she did her taxes and shit. Like, nothing was the same.
So I did do a couple quick searches for charitable activities that Mayweather and Diddy have participated in. And as I said, I never doubted that they were not participating in, that they had charitable organizations.
You didn't like what they specifically. What was it? What was your exact issue? Because you were very angry, and
because Mayweather walks around giving you names, telling you the names of his different jewelry pieces, and then he also has just duffel bags of money where he's just cash, just
right
here you go. And then Diddy lost $1 million in a dice game, and he Instagrammed about it. And it was like, I lost $1 million. It ain't nothing.
You can't be quick to judge. You see now, if you want, I stayed clear of. I knew not to pass judgment because I didn't know what they had done. Because Tina was very confident.
They didn't participate in charitable activities. I never said that. I said just that those 2 different things right there looked ignorant to me.
Oh, okay.
That's all I said. I never said that they didn't participate in charitable stuff. Of course, all of them do.
Okay.
I just didn't know what they were.
Yeah, this is one I can tell. It's still moving back.
Yeah.
The vein's gonna come out again.
Chilling.
I'm very scared of the vein. That nigga is scary.
But Diddy, who's worked his butt off and done a lot, he's allowed to brag about whatever he wants.
I lost $1 million in a dice game.
See, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. If I had
Peppur, how do you feel about
that? Psychologically, why does it bother you?
I think it's ignorant.
Why is it ignorant?
If he wants to lose $1 million, how does it?
And just brag about it.
How is that different from somebody? Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something that's worse? What's worse than him losing $1 million to Rick Ross? That's within he's still living within his means. When motherfuckers go to the riverboat and they gamble their house note away, that's worse. That's bad. Your life is being affected by it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't bother me. When people, it's money. It's there to be spent. You got a shitload of it.
Yeah.
Do dumb shit with it sometimes.
Right.
It doesn't bother me.
It's also relative. If you
it's all relative.
might say, "Oh man, I lost $100," but to some other person, they're like, "Oh my God, $100." All of that is relative. Now Mayweather, his is just ridiculous and it's absolute ignorance. But you also have to just think about where he comes from in his life,
right?
And that's just where he is. It's not cool. It's really sad.
And see, and again, I didn't put those 2 displays.
You know why, Peppur? Because no one else cares. Who else is going to give a fuck about the black community? Who else? Who else cares? Who else? Who cares about the black community but us?
But you said bragging. Does that really?
Because it's indicative to me of
it's
indicative to me of a larger issue about us as a community and how we don't look out for each other and the community and with the people who have the means to do so. And it's not just Diddy and Mayweather, although those 2 were the ones who were just like, oh, I'm just throwing money around. Like, literally, for me, it's like just putting money on fire in front of somebody, which I think is just nonsense. But you don't have other communities, and I'm not just going to say white people, but you just don't have other communities who do that, and other communities take care of their own. We don't. So I'm saying Diddy, Mayweather, Cosby, Oprah, like these cats have the means. And again, people we don't actually even know about. There are black billionaires who we don't know personally.
Oh, yeah,
who are
for
not
sure.
Celebrities. And I'm saying, again, working as a community, we don't do that.
So you're really saying that your real issue is that you're upset that they did this, and because they didn't give $1 million to someone else in the community? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I would prefer to see more and know more about what the things that they do. Now, again, as I said, I did a little bit of research.
And I disagree with her on that because if I give $1 million to a charity, if I give $1 million to a charity, I don't. If I'm genuine, I'm not gonna run around telling people I did it. And that's what I said last week.
You don't have to. And as Paloma said, these people have PR teams.
Why are those two have nothing to do with PR? Has nothing to do with. That's your choice.
You know what? Fine.
Why do you have to hand it off to your PR team because you gave $1 million to the Boys and Girls Club?
Little black boys, little black girls shoot up each other all day long because we don't have schools to go to because Rahm Emanuel, who's not black, wants to close down 50 schools in Chicago. So you know what? They don't care. I don't care. Let's keep it moving. We're moving on. We're not. I'm done. I'll have links to different charitable events on our website. There's a shooting in a mall in Nairobi, Kenya, which we did not talk about last week. It's now died down. There's 61 civilians and 6 Kenyan security officers who died in a 4-day attack.
That's a lot.
And one of the things that actually was discovered about most recently is that they think that the terrorist group set up a shop in the mall.
Right, and that's where they stored their arms.
Yeah, a year prior, which is really, really super scary.
Yeah, watch out for that
white widow. And do we know who the terrorist group is? Like, do we know anything?
It's an Al Qaeda offshoot, but
they're out of Somalia. There's a Somalian terror organization that were targeting Muslims.
Yeah, they're retaliating because this was Kenya, right?
Yes.
Kenya, they assisted Somalia when they were having some issues with Muslims there, and this is how they retaliated. And the woman that's supposed to be behind all of it, it's a white chick. She's called the White Widow, and her husband was a suicide bomber.
Well, I thought they said they haven't determined she was.
No. They're supposed to. We don't know that for certain. That's alleged.
That she's involved.
I mean, they're going after her. Well,
they're looking for her because she disappeared.
Yeah. So, more positive news: a New Jersey judge has allowed same-sex marriages to occur in Jersey. This is the 14th state to allow it. The state, per Governor Christie, is saying that the state will appeal the ruling, but the judge in New Jersey is saying that he's upholding the Supreme Court's decision that gay couples deserve equal protection under the law, so gay marriage is allowed to stand in Jersey. So good job for Jersey.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah.
All right. We danced at a gay wedding on Saturday.
Oh, really?
You danced at one? Oh, nice.
Moving on to weekly hot topics.
Maybe you'll dance at mine one day.
I would love to.
So, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare kicks off October 1st. Most Americans must have health insurance by March 31st, 2014. A lot of people keep getting their insurance through work. Enrollment begins October 1st, and then actual coverage will begin January 1st. And like I said, you'll have up until March to figure out what you're going to do. If you haven't gotten an insurance plan by March and you're not, it's still a lot of information coming, but the penalty that will happen if you haven't bought insurance by March 31st, a penalty will be added to your tax bill, the greater of $95 per adult or 1% of household income in 2014. So we'll probably have a bunch of links because it is still a little confusing. There's going to be there's 4 different tiers. There's, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. Mm-hmm. So your monthly payment will be contingent upon which tier you're in, and then it'll also be contingent upon where you live in the country. Right. And then also, depending on what tier, your monthly payment, your deductible. So it's sometimes.
I don't know how I feel about all this. In theory, it sounded like it was a really good idea because I really feel like I mentioned this on another episode that I believe slightly in communism, where everybody should have health care, everybody should have food. It shouldn't be a question. And I looked it up according to how much I make and everything, how much it would be under Obamacare, and it was more than my SAG health insurance. Basically, it was over $200 a month. And I don't feel like I should be obligated to pay that.
You're not obligated to pay it. If you already have insurance, you don't have to switch over.
Well, I don't know.
No, that's not true.
I don't.
That's actually not true.
What do you mean? That's what I said. The article said that.
Finish, but I'll tell you.
Well, first of all, I don't have the SAG. I could do the SAG, or I could do this. I mean, they're
equal.
Listen. They're slightly equal, but the Obamacare is actually more. Besides that, I don't know if I feel like I should be obligated to pay $200 and some a month for healthcare. One of the reasons why I had problems with the SAG insurance, because there's all these stipulations if you're under 40 years old. Like, I couldn't even get a lot of things that I wanted. Anyway, regardless, $200 and some a month is a lot of money. I never thought I would ever be a person to say that, but actually $200 and some a month is a lot of money. And I don't know how you're going to get all these people. I don't know how you're going to get all these people to pay the $150, $200 and some a month. And I'm starting to question it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist myself, but I'm like, I feel like Obama is being twisted to do this. It makes it look like him, that he wants this, and it's Obamacare, but I don't even believe it. I feel like Obama is the puppet for the man or other people that actually I do.
Okay. Democrats have been trying to push this agenda for a very long time. It didn't start with the Clintons, and it didn't happen. This isn't new.
I want to address what you said.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: if you have an individual plan, if you have an individual healthcare plan right now, that's gonna end, because that's what I have. It's going to end in December. They've already given me notice. They're like,
they contacted me and we just renewed ours. They said this is what I was gonna tell you at my job. I was scared because my boss was like,
your job or is it an individual plan?
oh no, that's different. Oh, I'm talking about through your job.
That's what. Yeah, that's.
Oh, you're talking about for an individual. Oh, I know. You're right about that. Okay, I'm sorry. We were talking about two different things.
Right. To Tina's point.
Yeah.
SAG. Right. I don't know what the SAG one is, but SAG will stay.
SAG, she was still would
but
be the
if
same.
you did an individual plan, that's
gonna change.
And yes, and
it's more expensive.
And
now.
it might be, but it'll be dependent upon what tier you do.
Yeah.
Which will make it either more expensive or less expensive.
Mine was the basic one, and it was still $200 and some a month.
For the Obamacare one?
No, for SAG.
Obamacare.
But that's
for the lowest one.
Obamacare, absolutely.
And you know what? That's a fantastic price. I'm sorry, when I didn't have health insurance, I had Cobra when I lost my job.
Cobra's insane though.
Cobra's insane.
When Cobra, and luckily Obama was subsidizing part of it. I was paying I was paying $200 a month, and then Obama, the government was paying another $100 of that. But $200 a month for just somebody for health insurance, and it's not through your job, you're paying out of pocket. That's a great price. That's a great price.
I'll tell you why I question everything, because when you start going to all these doctors, they push things on you. The pharmaceutical sales companies win. A lot of big businesses and corporations win when everybody is. I don't trust something. I don't trust something. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying it could be 10 years from now, and all of a sudden something will come out. But I'm saying I don't trust something about it.
So you're almost saying like, okay, so everyone's being forced to go to the doctor. Everyone's being forced to get the flu shot, and then that's where the conspiracy.
I don't get the flu shot. You're not forcing me.
I've never had the flu in my life. I do not get the flu shot.
Yes, it was an example.
Well, you're saying they force you to take something. No one's forcing you to do anything.
Look, in the end, this is going to save money, because do you know how much we pay out? It increases our premium. Over time, I believe it's going to be a great thing. I mean, how can you be mad at everybody being fucking covered? We end up ultimately paying when people are not covered. They go to emergency rooms. That affects your premiums. It affects your taxes. It affects everything. So maybe Tina may be upset about being obligated to do it, but in the end, as a whole, I believe it's a good thing.
Well, but Tina, to your point, I am a little concerned that it's going to cost me more than I thought it was going to be, based upon the plan that I have now, which apparently is a really good plan. And I don't think I'm gonna have the same plan with the same benefits once Obamacare kicks off. So I'm a little nervous. So to your point, Tina, I don't think it's a conspiracy in a larger scheme. I just think
why? Because it's not.
And also, I think sometimes
this nigga think everything a fucking conspiracy.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't. I'm not that person. And actually, I also don't think that the healthcare. I have to look into it. But I hope that it's more than just pure Western medicine. I think a lot of the physical ailments that people end up coming down with has to do with mental stuff, has to be emotional stuff, and they never deal with that when you're into these offices. And so again, all of us are going to go in there, we're going to have this wrong, they're going to prescribe this, but really the other reason for your illness is this over here. And I'm just not trusting it. That's all I'm saying. I used to do pharmaceutical sales for so many years, and I used to be in those offices with those doctors, and it's so much corruption that actually goes on.
Okay, Tina, we believe that. Oh, okay.
I worked in a doctor's office, so I mean, it's important to look at that perspective.
Obama, see, this is what I find interesting that she looks into it that way. I believe Obamacare is something that stops that process of corruption.
Mental health.
Yes, it is a remedy for the things that you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
It prevents them from having a monopoly on. I mean, one day they could just say, "Oh, we're all together." They could say, "Premium, we're going to shoot up premiums 25% and tell people it's because people keep ending up in the fucking emergency rooms," and that has fucking happened before. They can't do that now.
And the positives of pre-existing conditions, you can no longer charge more because you have a pre-existing condition.
That is the most beautiful part of it.
Because you have a pre-existing condition, which has kept people who had insurance couldn't get things covered, and they already had it. We still have to move on. So, this obviously will be an ongoing story. We'll probably have more to talk about over the next couple weeks about it and how it's affecting all of us. Very quickly, we're not gonna have time to talk about this. Rachel Maddow did really.
I fucking hate my cat. I don't know what it just. Oh.
So of what's been going on in Congress, obviously the House Republicans have been trying to defund Obamacare since it was enacted. And so now this is also tied up in getting a couple different bills passed, and the debt ceiling thing is about to approach. It's so much going on, and it can get a little complex. Rachel Maddow did an excellent, I think, 17-minute video on her show over the week, basically talking about how the last time the House Republicans had control of the House, when not when Obama was first elected, but back in the day when Clinton first was elected, they shut down the government again. So this has happened before. This is what they do. And I always think I'm like, they hate Obama so much, but really they just hate Democratic presidents so much. So we're going to have a link to Rachel Maddow's video, but it just goes to show you, again, when Republicans are in control of the House, nothing happens. Nothing gets done. They shut down the government.
Everything is held hostage.
Yeah, and it's a mess. It's a nightmare. So, I'm not playing. So last thing I want to quickly try and get to, this is a parenting topic, which is funny is that none of us have kids, so of course we're totally qualified to talk about this. But there's a group of teens, about approximately 200 to 300, I've heard reports of up to 400 teens destroyed this man's home in, I think, upstate New York. He's an ex-NFL player, Brian Holloway. I think that's his name, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, they broke into his man's crib through this wild, massive, insane party, tweeting about it, Facebooking about it, Instagramming about it.
It was so stupid.
It's ridiculous. He was in Florida with his family because that's where their year-round home is, and this is a vacation
He's looking at the pictures on Instagram or Twitter like, that's my house.
Well, his son, his 19-year-old son, saw it and was like, Dad, you might want to check this out.
He better than me because I would have been on an agenda. I wouldn't have told nobody. I'd have saw them fucking pictures. And I would have tracked down every one of them motherfuckers.
So to that point, okay, so
they graffitied his house.
He's been tracking them down. Oh, actually, worst thing that happened is they stole a memorial for his stillborn grandson. It was like this eagle. Mm-hmm. They stole it. They fucking stole it. It has since been replaced, but whatever. So teenagers, terrible teenagers, right? So this gets better. He does track them down because they're on social media. It's on social media. So now, what he did was, he was like, I want you guys to come back and help me clean up my house. Right? He's like, I want you to come back and clean my house. The parents of some of the students are threatening to sue.
Because he outed their names. He put their names out there. And the parents, how dare you put my kids' names out there?
They're not going to be able to get into college. Fuck your kids.
Thank you, Peppur.
By posting, they already did.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
This is ridiculous.
It is. It really is. And I didn't know at first because I've been hearing about the story, and when I finally read the article, I saw it was a black dude.
Well, he's not black.
He looks black to me. You didn't see the old pictures? No, he's black.
He looks black to me.
He's black. Y'all, it's some blackberries on that tree.
No.
Yes.
No, maybe some Pan-American Asian type of
No, he is black.
Islander.
No, he's not.
Samoan.
He's not. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
We'll look that up. We'll get back. That'll be in the
They don't know. Y'all hear like they questioning a little bit.
Anyway,
I saw the throwback picture of him and it was all nigga.
Louis C.K. has I think a 4 or 5 minute clip that he was on Conan. He was on Conan recently talking about why he won't get smartphones for his kids, and also how addicted we are to our smartphones and how we're afraid of being alone. So Tina, I know you.
Oh, it was so brilliant. I mean, he ends up going into this long soliloquy and he gets away from the smartphones, but he talks about sometimes when you're in the car, and I know for myself, and I'm a person that loves to be alone, but even it's starting to be too hard for me where I have to always constantly look at my cell, my Facebook updates, download my emails like constantly. And he says it's because there's that feeling of being alone that's in the pit of your stomach, of being alone, sad, knowing that you're going to die and you might not have any purpose. Like that's behind everybody. And so we're using our cell phones to keep us from thinking about that. And so I practiced it today coming here because it's like a 30-minute trip. And no matter what, I would not. And I even turned my music off. And I just dealt with the absolute silence in all my thoughts.
How'd that go?
It actually went well. It went well. I was at peace today. But it lets you know we have all these distractions that we don't always sometimes register what's really going on in our hearts and souls.
So and that was the gist of the video, but I very quickly want to say why he won't let his daughters have smartphones because he thinks that it messes with teaching kids empathy.
Yeah.
So like he's like if you're like just doing this, and if I call someone fat to their face and I see what happens to them, you know, as a kid I see their reaction, I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good. But he's like, if I'm just texting it, I'm like, oh,
You're fat.
okay,
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Exactly.
What I wrote.
So that's why he doesn't want his daughters to have cell phones. And as Tina pointed out, he goes into
He's my favorite comedian.
He's awesome.
He's really
brilliant.
smart.
He's been my favorite
Brilliant.
comedian for like 6-7 years.
And then to wrap it up, there's another video floating around called "I Forgot My Phone," and it goes to the life. It starts out in the morning. This girl wakes up and her boyfriend is like is already like on his phone while she's like laying on him, and then for the rest of the day you see her hanging out with their friends, and everybody's like this, whatever. I mean, I thought it was a little over the top, but I understand the point that they're trying to make.
Oh, it's so true. They're bowling and everybody is freaking looking at their phones. They're trying to toast to something, but instead of really being in the moment and toasting, they're trying to take pictures while they're toasting, and it's so true. And I vacillate back and forth because I can be that way where I
don't take pictures of food. I think that's corny.
I want a picture of everything. I either have my cameras with me.
that?
Or
I didn't know it was gonna do that.
I'm not even mad.
It's
We
a
are.
new device.
Yeah.
Now, since I'm new, I'll go ahead and explain it.
You
so
don't
we
have
have
to.
a timer
They can
here.
figure it out.
means our segment is finished.
We are wrapping up segment 1. We'll be right back with segment 2.
All right, we're back with the music segment.
No, it's just because he's the featured artist.
The featured artist this week is Nicole Wray.
I'm so curious. So why you picked her?
I've always liked Nicole Wray. The funny thing about her is there's not a whole lot to talk about. I just really wanted to feature her.
Okay.
It's kind of a tragedy because Nicole Wray's first album was pretty much Missy did the whole thing. She was the first artist signed to Missy Elliott's record label.
It was Goldmine, right?
It was Goldmine with Elektra, and the first single was "Make It Hot."
That's the one I knew, and I was surprised you didn't have it on here. But I was like, that's the only one I knew.
I figured everybody would know it. That's why I didn't put that one on here. But my favorite Nicole Wray song is called "I Can't See." She got a video for it. It's produced by Brian Alexander. Brian Alexander did most of SWV's first album.
And she sounds reminiscent of that era. She reminds me of SWV. She reminds me of Total. She reminds, you know what I'm saying, like that. But
Straight
that
R&B, that era.
But
Yeah,
hip hop. It's R&B, but with a little bit of flavor. You know what
She
I'm
was
saying?
a part of when Timbaland and Missy gained prominence.
Yeah.
She was part of that movement.
I feel you on the tragedy being as though she's somebody that can sing, she's definitely talented, can dance, do all that stuff, but evidently she just didn't get pushed in the right arena.
Well, here's what happened though. This is why it's a tragedy. When she was on the Gold Mine, and again, this is unprecedented because nobody had a whole fucking album that Missy and Timbaland worked on. They would do a couple songs and they would maybe, they have other people doing some beats or whatever, but because she was on Missy's label and Missy was criticized for this, she's like, you're on all the songs. You wrote all the songs. You produced all the songs. It sounds like it's your fucking album.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck. I liked the album. The album was hot. What ended up happening was that was during a period of time where the record labels they were being taken over by bigger labels and they were combining, and when that would happen, if somebody's album was out, promotion would stop for the album and that just the artist would fall off the planet at that point, on the face of the planet. So that happened with her with Elektra and Missy's label because a lot of people don't know Little Mo was on Missy's label also.
Yeah.
And Nicole Wray, I mean, she's on some recognizable songs. She's on Missy's All in My Grill. She's in the video with Big Boy.
Yeah.
So her album, it did okay. It went gold, which isn't bad. But after that, her follow-up album was called Electric Blue, and it got shelved.
Is that the one? That was when Goldmine. That was with Dame Dash. Was that right?
No. That's before Dame Dash. The first single off Electric Blue was I'm Looking.
Okay.
And there's a video for it and everything. And I remember I heard the song, I was like, I like this. So I'm waiting for the album. The album came out. So at that point, that's when the album got shelved. That's when the shakeup was going on with the label. So after that, she was kind of in limbo for a while. And then I saw her pop up and she's in the Clips Grinding video.
Right.
So I'm like, oh shit, she with Pharrell now? Like,
Here she comes.
yeah, I'm like, okay, she made a comeback, and then nothing. So after that, at some point, she ended up with Rockefeller. So I guess Dame Dash brought her to Rockefeller, and I mean, who had worse luck in the fucking world?
Oh my God.
She comes to Rockefeller right right before Jay-Z splits with Dame Dash. She had a single, If I Was Your Girlfriend. I love that song.
I like that single.
yeah.
That's a good single.
It's a fucking great song. I'd imagine like Beyonce could have done that song. It would have been huge. So the song comes out, and then Jay splits with Dame, and Rockefeller just is fucking eradicated.
I'm sorry, what year was that again? I'm sorry.
That was, I want to say that was 2000, and because that was off the Love Child. I want to say it was about 2005.
Okay. Thanks.
So she had an album she was working on. It's called Love Child. It was supposed to come out on Rockefeller. At the time, one of the biggest labels on the fucking planet. They break up. Dame and Jay-Z break up. That album got shelved.
They break up. That's hilarious.
So following that, again, she disappeared for a while. She ended up on an album. The Black Keys have this album where they work with hip hop artists. It's called Black Rock. And Dame Dash, the Black Keys are basically Dame Dash's favorite band. And so he contacted them. He really wanted to work with them. So what he did was he pulled the artists that he still had a relationship with, he pulled them into the fray and had them work with the Black Keys. And it was like this rock, hip hop type mashup thing. It was called Black Rock. And Nicole Wray is on that album. And she also sang background vocals on the Black Keys Brothers album in 2010. Which is pretty big. I mean, Black Keys, that's a pretty recognizable band. She also did.
Who the Black Keys are?
Of course. We're listening.
Are you familiar with Black Keys?
Absolutely.
Black Keys? Okay.
No, the group. No, I'm saying the band. I'm actually not
Oh,
that
no,
familiar.
totally,
with
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's also on Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon 2 that came out in 2010. The last thing that she did, she formed a group. And the album came out this year. We actually featured one of the songs on an earlier episode. She partnered with a woman named Terry Walker, who I'm not really that familiar with. They formed a retro soul duo. It's called Lady, and they released the album in March of this year.
Oh.
It's kind of like really throwback. It all sounds like Stax, almost like Motownish. Yeah, but
She was. It was 04, not 05.
it was 04. Yeah. But yeah, she a lot of her songs, like one of the songs that I featured is "Mama Used to Say" featuring Missy Elliott and Redman. I don't know if y'all peeped it, but it's got the Tina Marie sample in it.
Oh, I didn't notice.
I Need Your Love and the doom doom doom
I
doom.
didn't hear the sample.
Doom doom doom. It's all throughout the song. But that song is off of Electric Blue, off of her unreleased. All the songs from her albums that weren't released are on YouTube.
Well, at least they got to get out there.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So where is she from anyway?
She's from
Born in
from.
Portsmouth, Virginia.
Well, no, she
born in
was born in California and then she moved to
She
Virginia.
raised in
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. That's the Missy connection. A cousin, Missy's cousin, knew Nicole Wray and introduced her to Missy, and that's how she ended up being
you know
signed to
what's
a
funny
record
was
label.
watching the Make It Hot video, rewatching that, like at the end when Missy comes in and she's like dancing in front of her, the way like Puffy used to dance in front of me.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Like
oh
I was
yeah.
like, can we? And then because I was thinking about how much control Missy had over the album.
Yeah.
Like she's literally dancing in front of her, like, but it's toward the end, and then when they're sitting down, I don't know if they're at a piano, they're sitting down somewhere. Missy's like kind of again almost in front of her.
So maybe Missy was living vicariously through her, like she always wanted this.
I honestly think it's that it's like this is my artist.
It was her first
It was
artist that she
branding.
signed, so she was very protective of her.
Yeah.
And I think she was branding herself, Missy, like keeping her
Yeah.
brand just like Puffy and everyone else.
But that's what I more so looked at it like that, like the way Puffy is always in something. But
Yeah.
it was funny to me though because I'm like, as opposed to being like, let me put
Yeah,
her here and me here. Missy's like, I'm here.
Right.
So I was kind of like, all right, whatever. But then what
Yeah.
was also cool about it is Aaliyah was in that video. She's
I mean, it was all that whole crew.
Yeah.
But if out of everything, I would say, because I probably would have assumed that everybody was familiar with I Can't See, but a lot of people weren't. Out of everything, check out I Can't See. I love the song, and in the videos, it's an Alice in Wonderland thing. Little Mo is in the video also, and there's another girl that was signed to Missy's label named Mocha that was a rapper. She's all over. Stop!
Oh.
She's all over Missy's first album.
She reminds me of Tweet. She reminds me of Tweet.
Tweet actually on Tweet's first album, Southern Honeybird. She thanks Nicole Wray, but by that time Nicole Wray was no longer on the gold line.
Not yet at all.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah.
Thank you for that, Angela.
Oh, anytime, babe. No new albums this week because next week we're going to be talking about the 2020 experience, part 2 of 2, and Drake's Nothing Was the Same. So just be prepared. I'm about to whoop this cat's
We got
ass.
it. I know we want to get to Kanye, so we got
Khalees has a new song.
Khalees, yay!
Yeah, I
I
like
met
it.
her. I met her in New York in the elevator. You know how that goes.
It has a lot of depth. She's really, really grounded in this song.
I like the
It's a
song.
slow song ballad. I really enjoyed it. However, I have to say I couldn't figure out what she was talking about. Been Given a Morning is the title. So I looked up the lyrics. It's the first time I've ever read the lyrics, and I still don't know what the heck she's talking
Really?
about.
No.
I have
It speaks to you?
I don't get it.
No, it's spoke
like
to her, but
it,
she doesn't know exactly what she's talking
I
about.
need to know exactly.
Oh,
All the
what
time
are some
lyrics.
words? Anything you remember?
I don't even think it made sense. I don't even think it was grammatically correct if you read it.
dear.
Like, it's really
Was
weird.
it a tweet? Maybe it's a tweet?
No, we like the song, but honestly, my interpretation of it, just even reading the title of it, I feel like it's like I've been given a new beginning. I've been giving.
I would
a
go
new
with
But
that.
it's about a relationship, though. That's what throws you off, because I agree with you. That's what I
I
thought.
would think that too.
That's what I thought. And then when I listened to it, I'm like, she's singing about a dude.
Well, yeah.
Now, I don't know if let's say if she changed the title to Been Given a Good Morning, she'd been like, I've been having some fucked up mornings, but I've been given a chance at having a good day because I'm with this dude or whatever. But yeah, I was thrown off too. I didn't know exactly what
to
she
read
was
the
talking
lyrics
about.
and then come back, reconvene because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is a good. I really do like the song.
Well done.
Like, I really think it's a good look for Khalees.
Katy Perry,
Okay.
Juicy J, my boy Juicy J. I dig this song.
It was okay.
I dig it.
It was okay. Like I wasn't blown away. It was okay. It was not a bad song.
I'm not gonna bump it in my car. I'm not gonna buy a single.
It felt contrived though because it's like
Okay, so
Katy Perry and Juicy J. Like y'all, Juicy J did not belong on this song.
but
It was
I feel like they keep making these parents. I feel like they keep putting these parents together. But the other thing is, I like the beat. But here's the thing: it reminds me of. I'm like all of Juicy J's stuff sounds the same.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like as soon as you hear it, you automatically start nodding your head because it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I know that. You know.
Yeah, he had an album that came out about 3 weeks
Oh,
ago
what is
too.
that? What was that band from
Tripping,
back in the day? No.
Art of Noise.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's definitely reminiscent of
That's in
that.
there.
That's the
in
first thing that popped in my head.
Right.
Who sings that radioactive song?
That's our band.
Oh my God, I love
Imagine
them.
Dragons.
I love them. We talked about them.
I love
already.
Yeah.
that. I know. I just
We
wanted to
watched
say
it.
it.
Brandon Williams featuring Gene Baylor, Stronger.
I was
Really? I actually liked it.
I was bored.
Gene Baylor is a light-skinned chick from China.
I was bored.
Really?
I appreciated it. I respect it, but I was bored.
I'm like, I was like, it could possibly grow me, but right now I'm bored.
Agnes Mo, Coke Bottle featuring Timbaland and T.I. I mean, it's a classic Timbaland beat, and the chick, she's actually Indonesian. I guess she's huge in Indonesia. I didn't hate it. Timbaland is one of those people, like Justin Timberlake has a new song out called TKO. It's the sound when I hear it is so like, it's like I've heard this before.
Yeah, that's what the problem was.
That's what like, it sounds like countless other songs.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
what
that's it. It kind of
Is
sounds
it
like
a song
countless
about
other songs.
sex?
I don't know where we are. The cat is messing with the cameras.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
we got
Jennifer Hudson, I can't describe.
I mean, Pharrell did the right thing by producing her in something like this. I can see this being the type of song that she should do. I feel like the problem with Jennifer Hudson, as wonderful as her voice is, the issue is there's always anger underneath it. There's something that's a little bit rough or gruff for me.
Southside.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Chicago.
Yeah, but it's decent. It remards you of something from the 70s,
I was
80s.
just saying, it sounds late 70s, early 80s. I feel like that's the space
I'ma tell
Pharrell's in
ya.
right now. Pharrell's in that space right now.
I'm gonna tell y'all who it reminded me of. It reminded me of Evelyn Champagne King.
Yeah.
Like Love Come Down, I'm in Love, those types of songs.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good song. I thought it was a good song.
It is a nice,
It's a happy song.
It's a well done song, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
like,
happy song.
It's kind of, yeah, it's Jennifer Hudson.
Wait, but if
thing.
you think about it, music can, it's kind of going that way anyway. That's kind of the 50s, 60s, 70s. That's the era that hasn't really kind of been looked at.
But I feel like it's late 70s, early 80s vibe. But that's the space Pharrell has been in. Like the music we've been listening to this summer from him, that punk, that's just where he's at right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle Williams, Fire.
It was good.
I liked it.
It was good.
I liked it.
I was cool up until we got to the chorus, and she sounded like Minnie Mouse. Like I was like,
That's
I
how she
understand.
sounds.
I was like, what is happening? What is happening right now?
For
She looks
Michelle-
fabulous. She looks outstanding.
I thought she did a really good job on this song. This was unexpected. It's a good song. She always has shitty songs. Like I know she can sing, but the music is always shitty. It's
Say
like
it again. You know she can sing.
You keep trying to convince the people that she cannot sing. This heifer would not have been in the greatest fucking girl group of all time if she cannot sing. She can't sing. Her and her sister. I saw her sister sing a cappella. She's never featured because of Beyonce. She's never featured. Michelle Williams can sing.
Okay, fine. I'm just not a big fan of your voice. That's all.
You look fabulous. What it is. She has a unique voice.
She has a
but
thin
that doesn't
voice.
mean she can't sing.
She has a thin voice.
True.
Okay, Aisha, you stash. I promise.
I tried.
Really?
I couldn't.
Oh my god, I love the chords on this song.
I couldn't.
No, I was way too bored with that one.
Ooh.
And I wanted to love it.
Oh.
I could see where they were going, but
Those are disgusting.
yeah.
Okay.
Bilal.
This was a beautiful song.
Featuring Robert Glasper.
This was a beautiful
Butterflies.
song.
I love Bilal. I'm the biggest Bilal fan, so he can do no wrong.
You know I wasn't gonna put it. That's the only reason it got on here is because.
I love Bilal too.
Granted, the song is extremely repetitive. He keeps saying the same thing over and
It's
over
a
again.
beautiful song.
I love it. It's a very simple video.
It is a good song.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's a great musician.
It says it all by the number of hits. He only has 4,000 hits. That's nothing. That's so
Well,
sad.
you do know.
Though.
You do know Bilal is a fringe artist. Like it's not.
That hurts me
So
so
many
much.
people don't know. Well,
Because Khalees at this point is a fringe artist. Khalees's last album,
she is.
it sold 8,000 copies opening week.
She is
8,000. You were married to Nas. You had his baby. You sold 8,000 copies.
God.
Yes, I mean it happened. So Bilal is definitely in there. He's rooted in neo soul.
It's called Butterfly. It's a beautiful song.
It's beautiful.
Next.
His voice.
We're talking about
in opera, so he's absolutely amazing.
We're talking about videos right now. The video is pretty simple. But
So there's Drake. Hold on, we're going home.
I love the
I
song.
like that.
This video is dramatic. I'm like, why? It's
The
very
video's a
dramatic.
little bit boring. He's saving his half Filipino black girlfriend who's in lingerie.
Lingerie for no
They're
reason.
shooting and
But
She
her
was
hair
getting
looks
dressed.
amazing.
She was getting dressed
I
to go
get it.
out.
I get
Pepper.
it.
I never saw that.
Their dress was laying on the ground.
That's what she wears
She was
to go out.
No, that was underneath. That was she was gonna put her dress on.
You wear that underneath?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No, don't That's not normally what you wear
No,
underneath.
but that's what that shit was for.
Yeah.
Tina, we're gonna talk about that in Wifely Duties. That's what we're gonna talk about that in Wifely Duties.
Okay.
So anyway,
Next
check out the video because it's about 7 minutes long, and he decided he said he wanted to do something reminiscent of Michael Jackson. This, that, and other.
That's what he was doing?
Oh, he definitely mentioned Michael Jackson several times in when he was interviewed about the video. I will tell
that
you
was
this.
supposed to be like
Well, you have to be familiar with Michael's body of work. He didn't say Thriller. He said Moonwalker. I've seen Moonwalker. Half the people I know have never seen Moonwalker.
Okay, well,
Moonwalker is a movie that Michael Jackson did.
I know.
And Smooth Criminal is pulled from
that's
it.
when I like Smooth Criminal.
That's
Okay,
what
so
Yeah.
I saw
Smooth Criminal has an extended version. It's a mini movie.
Smooth Criminal, but also I actually thought Miami Vice. Like I didn't know.
Well, that's what he said. It said
Yeah.
Miami Vice 1983.
Well,
That's
no,
what
it just said Miami, not Miami Vice.
it said it said Miami
Yeah,
1985.
because I'm saying
Yes,
it made me
Miami
think
Vice.
of the show Miami Vice, but I was like, Drake knows that no one thinks of him as hard, right? Like
That's when I started laughing.
Is that what
When the guns came out and Drake had on a hoodie, I laughed out loud. I'm like, you're
the face mask off, and I'm like,
yeah.
and then he
Aubrey.
shoots the guy for no reason. I don't like.
you're Aubrey.
Yeah, you're cotton candy.
I don't.
Next, if you
So-
haven't heard the song, just listen to the song. Don't
Yeah.
watch
The song
the
is
video.
great. Love the
It'll
song.
throw you off.
Love
the song is
Okay,
great.
look, I'm gonna switch this up real quick because
Who shot that video?
if you have a chance,
Oh my
if you
god.
have a chance, the Marvin Gaye biopic has a trailer. It's horrible.
It's bad.
It's horrible.
It's so bad.
Jesse L. Martin is a great actor too, and he actually can sing.
He
But
was
it-
even off key in the singing.
Whoa, then he sounded horrible singing Sexual Healing. I'm like, why would you have somebody else sing that shit?
It looks so cheap. The whole
It's
movie.
cheap.
looks
That's a
cheap.
Pepper Murkison is, and I'm like, y'all done brought her name down into this. Like,
Who directed?
Get that damn thing from the cat.
what did he say?
Directed?
Nothing.
It's a bomb.
Oh,
Who
okay.
directed?
So I'm sorry.
Anyone know who directed?
I think it's an unknown. It's an unknown.
I can't remember.
So I saved the best for last. We have 2.5 minutes to talk about Kanye West's interview with Zane Lowe.
You don't want to do JT?
Oh yeah. Justin Timberlake did. He did a cover of of the Jacksons' "Shake Your Body Down to the Ground."
Shake your body down.
It was wonderful.
I loved it.
I mean, I love DT. Dancing was cute. The horns were wonderful. Love the horns.
And I told y'all when Tina was saying he had fake horns on this song, I was like, wait till he does the song live. He gonna bring the horns
And I
out.
agree with you. I just feel like you have that much money, put the live horns on.
I still think it's real horns.
It was
I
not
think
real
so
horns.
too.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
real
so
horns.
electronic. Listen to it. It's so electronic.
Okay, but we're gonna go ahead. Sorry.
So Kanye had an interview with Zane Lowe. It's this British dude. I don't even know his pedigree, but
Okay, I was like, who are you? And
but I think he does radio for BBC. I think he's pretty well known over there. So it was a BBC interview, and he just proceeds to expound.
I want Kanye. It's just he keeps talking, and it's like clearly he's trying to say significant stuff, but you're just like, what are you talking about? It just keeps meandering around, but he's so passionate about it. Did you understand what he was saying?
Somewhat, but he's an artist. He's out there. This is what he does. This is what he always does. I don't think it was anything that was that overwhelming. It was like, oh, this is Kanye talking. I wasn't.
The last time I was on the show, we talked about Kanye. It was the same thing.
This
He's
is what he does.
talking. It's the same.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not trashing the entire interview. It was a good interview. I mean, he talks about how Kim Kardashian inspired him and a lot of different things. And actually, some of the things they talk about as far as the album goes, because I love the Yeezus album. I mean, the first song that opens it up, they talked about. It's a great album because it's experimental, and rappers don't tend to experiment.
Why is it doing well? Is it because
people are confused?
The conspiracy is because he's with Kim Kardashian. That's why the album isn't doing as well.
No, it's not doing as well because it's an experimental album. There are no radio singles on the album. And for an album to do well, you have to have a radio single. Well, he didn't release any singles to radio, and he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
So this was something that you do when you reach that upper echelon of creativeness, where you don't have to worry about success.
I'm not worried about
it. And that's what he talks about.
Level.
Yeah, exactly. It's Prince level.
It's funny though that you say that because that actually helps. Knowing that puts his interview in context because he's basically explaining that. But if you don't understand that that's what this album is and that's like he deliberately sort of did these things.
See, I thought he explained that very well in the interview.
No, he did not. Like he was over here and over there and over there.
He said no radio singles. I mean, he explained it. I thought he did a good job explaining it.
Not entirely clear.
He was fairly sober.
One thing I want to mention as we wrapping this up is that he was on Jimmy. So Jimmy Kimmel did a spoof of a portion of the interview, and then Kanye lost his shit on Twitter.
Well, the spoof was he took word for word what was said in the interview,
right.
And he had two little kids do it. He had a little black kid, and a little white kid played a British dude who did a great job. He had like 3 words, but the black dude read Kanye's part, and it was hilarious.
Because Tina's always talking about we hate Kanye. I don't hate Kanye, and in fact, I actually
love Kanye.
I rose to his defense in this particular spoof because I mean, granted, the all caps Twitter was a little over the top per Kanye. But I thought Jimmy Kimmel was a little out of pocket for
What
me.
are you?
I didn't like.
Are you
like
kidding me?
Yeah, I didn't like his spoof.
What was wrong with him doing that? He didn't even change what Kanye said. He just had 2 kids say it. What was wrong with that?
Yeah, I thought.
How is that out of line?
Jimmy Kimmel to me, it's funny.
You have a problem with Jimmy Kimmel.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's what. Did you have a problem with Jimmy? It was completely innocent. I don't even know why Kanye made a big deal out of it.
I do think Kanye overreacted. Go ahead.
Why do you have a problem with Jimmy? Is it the Jimmy or is it the overreaction?
Hers is Jimmy.
It's both. It's both. It's
Crescent. Jimmy does this every night. Why is it that he does this with Kanye and now you getting all up in arms? It was funny. He didn't do anything offensive. He had 2 kids repeat what this nigga said in the interview. So he didn't color it with anything new.
There's a Huffington Post piece that also came out kind of basically in defense of Kanye. And so a lot of things that he was saying in his interview, he makes some valid points. I'm just saying he's kind of all over the place with it, but he makes some valid points how he, as a black artist, as a black designer, like kind of gets like played a little bit and doesn't get a lot of the due that he feel like he deservedly is owed. But again, it's a lot of times it's a mix of stuff. So I'm saying,
what does that have to do with Jimmy Kimmel? This has nothing to do with what Jimmy did. Jimmy had 2 little kids. He didn't make a white dude do it. It was a little black kid that just repeated what Kanye said in a colorful way.
I think it's a little mean spirited.
How was that mean spirited? I don't know where you're getting this from.
Way out of time. Actually, we're out of time.
Wrap it up.
Bye.
Come back to segment 3. Alright, welcome back to segment 3. We tend to be a little, hopefully, calmer sometimes, except for last time. Anyway, so this one we're going to talk about marriage and dating. None of us are married, so we're totally qualified to talk about that, but we are dating, so we're also equally qualified to talk about that. So quickly, so Tina last week, before we started taping, had a question to us about wifely duties. So Tina, I'll let you.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my girlfriends in another state, and she, very well educated, PhD, brilliant woman, husband is very, very successful, and she's been getting hormonal shots because they're trying to get pregnant again.
Oh.
And so they haven't had sex in a while, they have some tensions, a lot of things are going on that are a little bit rough.
I know you're gonna elaborate like that.
They're having some tensions, and so I asked her, or I don't know if she brought it up or I brought it up, but she was like, I said, have you been sucking his penis? I did, I brought it up. And she said, no, you know what, I haven't, but I am about to start doing that because I feel it is my wifely duty. And I'm like, whoa, what, do you mean those words, wifely duty? She's like, yeah, even though we can't have sex, I feel it is my wifely duty. I was like, wait, you're a very, very intelligent woman. She's like, yeah, but it's my duty as a woman to give my husband a blowjob on a regular.
As a wife.
Yeah, as a wife. It is my duty. And so I started thinking, is this our duty? Are these duties that we don't know about? I mean, of course, it's a given that, you know, oral sex is a wonderful thing to give your husband, and I would like to do it at my leisure, but is my duty, like, once a month or once a week, is it my duty? And if there are duties that these things need to be outlined,
a quick explanation,
they need to be discussed. We need, yeah, these things.
Okay, and then also,
suck your husband's dick if you want to suck his dick.
Stop.
Not a duty.
Boris Cujo and Derek Luke were interviewed for Baggage Claim, which came out this weekend. And in it, Boris Cujo talks about the woman who's interviewing them asked about what are deal breakers. And so basically, shorthand, gaining weight for Boris Cujo is a deal breaker, but he's also like, that goes the same for the men as well as the women.
I thought he was very, I loved what he had to say. He was very honest. People always say, oh, for forever, no matter what, like you get fat and ugly, I'm still there, I made a commitment. No, that never fucking worked.
The headlines is a little inflammatory, but yes, once you actually listen to what he's saying, it's not. But I appreciate the fact that he said for the men as well as women, like if I go from a 6-pack to a 1-pack, which is actually what Derek Luke said, you know, that's not fair to her.
I'm sorry, Boris. I'm sorry. If you marry Boris and you let yourself go, you're an evil fucking person.
Okay,
you're
so
an
then
evil woman.
I want so we can talk about wifely duties. So then what Boris did say, he was like, you got to keep it sexy, and he also brought up the point, which is what I bring about.
They said sex sad.
I know.
I don't know what that was all about.
I wasn't gonna repeat that. But I want to bring this up because he did make a point, which is what I've made before when I've had conversations with people about this. Boris says, I took her off the market. So he was like, I got to keep myself up because to try and put her back in the market, like after we've been together for so long, isn't fair to her, which is what I'm talking about, this whole marketplace situation. But, so bringing it back, wifely duties. Sexual favors, not gaining weight, like, and so Tina, your thing is this needs to be written down someplace. I think doesn't the Bible address sort of like
and who goes by the Bible? And Crescent referencing the Bible always blows my mind. But
hey.
Why? Because her name is Crescent? That's racist.
No, not
That's
Muhammad.
Actually, your first and last name imply a lot.
But I do believe that there's no rule book on what is.
There is not. Sex is organic. You can't tell somebody there's a requirement that you suck my dick twice a month.
We were talking about this before, though. I thought because we were talking about there's understanding of as far as like sex in a marriage and how important it is to both parties.
No, I do care because I gave an example. I was in college and my girlfriend was on her period and she had never given me a blowjob. And one night I got a blowjob and I'm like, what is happening? And she's like, I'm on my period. So I guess she kind of felt like it was her duty to do that. I wasn't complaining. But I don't think a person should think anything sexual is a duty. I think you should do it because you want to do it. And you want to be pleased, you want to please the other person. I think
that's what I think, but I'm learning that not everybody feels.
Oh, they don't, and those people I feel very sad for if you view your fucking partnership with a person as a duty.
There's some duties though. I mean, you know, you clean the house, you do the laundry, you got to make the bed, and
what if you're not good at those things, or you work all the time?
I am not, and then you guys know I am not good at that duty, and so this is why this is an interesting topic. Excuse me, my parents, if you see this, but the thing is that turns out to be something important in a relationship, and I do think that for some reason, I just have to say it, I think it's something that needs to be there.
But those things, let me say this, I don't disagree with you on that. Like in me growing up, sometimes my dad would do the laundry, sometimes my dad would cook dinner. And my dad was good at cooking certain things. My mom was good at cooking everything. But sometimes my mom did all the, I remember seeing my mom screaming at my dad a couple times, like, ah! And he's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you I wrote that check. She's balancing the checkbook. Yeah. So she was better at that. But it's a partnership. It's not a thing where somebody goes, well, you didn't. I think with sex is different. With those types of things, I do think you sit down and you say, I'm good at this, you're not good at it, I'm going to do this, you do that. That's different to me. Sex to me does not fit within those parameters.
So I think there should be, as
this is the question.
As between that particular couple, everyone should have both parties should have an understanding of what's important to the other person.
Sure, definitely.
Now, in the scenario that Tina presented to us, I do think there should be a little bit more understanding. I'm pumped full of hormones. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna need you to not be all crazy because you're not getting any action. And you did say that it's not something
it wasn't that he was all up in arms about it. She was just saying, this is my duty.
Yeah.
Just from a real calm standpoint.
And he doesn't, look, what I think is crazy about that is the fact that she said it and she said he's understanding it's not a big deal. The fact that she still feels that way, that speaks to some deep-seated issue to me. Because she made it known that he does not have that expectation. So why does she have that expectation? She's the one suffering here. He's the one that probably should be more understanding. She's going through a physical change so that they can make a child. He should be the most understanding person on the planet. She shouldn't feel like, I'm going through all this, but I need to suck some dick to make this nigga happy. That does not make any sense to me.
Wait, but we don't even know if she had an issue. It's really, in this case, Tina heard the words. So maybe the wife doesn't even have an issue. Those are just the words that she.
Right. No, and Tina's just bringing up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Tina was playing devil's advocate, like, oh wow, really? Should I think this way if I'm ever? No, Tina. The answer is no.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. So
she's the one that's married. So
you can marry it. Tina, and that's the problem. You know what, Tina? You could be married tomorrow, but would you necessarily be happy? Yeah, so if you had to get married and have a dick sucking contract, maybe you shouldn't get married.
But let us actually segue that into 300 sandwiches.
A dick sucking contract?
No.
But maybe that's.
Hey, wait. Hey, I contract you.
Why did you say that?
She's got nice lips. So maybe though, before you get married, is this something that you need to sit down with your husband and wife and really discuss? This is that.
Okay, so I want to come back to that. I want to
go to Denise.
Getting us there. Okay, for example, cooking. So there's this woman who has a blog called 300 Sandwiches. Her name is Stephanie Smith. She's actually the senior reporter for Page 6. Yes. So since last June, she has attracted a lot of attention because she started a blog saying that she was going to. She made a sandwich. I'm sorry, her boyfriend would wake up every morning and go like, what time is it? Oh, it's 15 minutes, whatever. I've been up for 15 minutes. He'd be like, so where's my sandwich? So then she decided to start making him sandwiches because he was like, he tasted one. He's like, oh my God, this is so good. You're 300 sandwiches away from getting an engagement ring. And so she kind of got the idea of like, she's going to start a blog. I'm going to make him sandwiches. And now, when all of this came out this past week, I think she's like on sandwich 174 or something else.
Oh, the world is up in arms about her Peppur wife.
So people, yes, as Tina said, have lost their mind.
Y'all saw these sandwiches. You put a ring on it after sandwich number 10. These fucking sandwiches look incredible.
So here's the sandwiches do look amazing. I don't even get down sandwiches like that. But like,
you know she's gonna end up with her own business after this.
But
oh yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, I know that's not the point.
No, that's true. I agree.
But so some of the comments. So I want to get into, so Gawker and BuzzFeed both had different headlines that were like completely out of control. In fact, the Gawker article just is kind of slanted.
Yeah.
And the comments that follow it are twofold. One of which is, you know, you're setting us back. But the other one is she's trying to get a movie deal. She's trying to get a book deal. She's trying to get a business. But you know what? So what? It's 2013. That's what we do. Yeah, good person. She works for Page 6.
She's Page 6.
She works for Page 6. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but she addresses it in her blog how this came about and how she feels about it. And she said her mom even joked with her like, "Can you even cook, baby?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then they actually went on the Today Show, her and the now. It's funny because the Today Show headline says calls him her fiance.
Oh, so she's married.
But they did ask about it.
And they're not engaged. There's no ring. So and it's also interesting. They're an interracial couple, which nobody really talks about so much.
It's funny. I noticed that
they don't talk about it.
Nobody ever really mentioned it.
They do tell him when they say that he's gay.
Oh, he do? Does he have gay face?
The comments were like.
Does he have gay face?
The comments were like, is she the only one that doesn't know he's gay? Like.
Oh, I didn't see that.
The comments are crazy. So, but to the point point of, in terms of duty, she's cooking now. She's making sandwiches. And she's like, it's really important to him. He really likes sandwiches. It's something small that I can do that he really appreciates. And the fact that she's getting so much backlash for it.
But she did make a point. She did make a point to say, now this is what I like what she said. She said that, you know, people making a big deal about this. She said, but when it comes to cook, she basically said he's a better cook than her. And he cooks all the time. So people were acting like, the fucking sandwiches are his only source of nourishment. It's just something nice she does for a man. Yeah, he's not making her do it. That's what I thought it was cute. I'm like,
very cute. I
yes.
don't understand what the issue is.
And go ahead, sorry, Tina.
It's a way for him to feel nurtured.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful thing. There's no problem with it whatsoever.
And so what's funny because, again, I ain't known for my cooking, whatever. But I will make an effort. I can do it. And it's come to my attention recently, just casually even putting together a very low-key meal that's so appreciated.
It is.
Like, I had a friend tell me, because I was like, oh, I messed up the rice. Like, I was trying to get fancy and was trying to do stuff. And I was like, the other dishes were great. Don't get twisted. But I messed up one thing that my OCD type A behind wasn't happy about. And my friend was like, it's fine. He was like, just the fact that you fixed it.
oh, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this.
Okay. Like, this is
It's just to appreciate when someone appreciates you doing that small thing.
And it doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It still was sort of like a light bulb sort of going on.
Somebody knows you were thinking about them, you put forth some effort. That means a lot. People don't do that anymore.
I wish it was as simple as 300 sandwiches. That's all.
I would. Yes, are you kidding me? Yes.
I'd be all into it.
Toasted PPJ and banana with a fucking honey crusted whatever. Yes, I would make those fucking sandwiches.
I think the point though is like, you know, you figure out what works best for you guys. She discovered that he liked her sandwiches, and that doesn't mean
it's not
everybody
sexist or anything.
and make sandwiches, or that you need to figure out how to.
It's a blowjob, easy peasy.
Exactly.
Well, flip it. Flip it. If it was a guy that was doing it, nobody would have said anything.
Oh, yeah.
But because it's a woman doing it, we're so sensitive. We think, oh my God, he's taking advantage of her. It's sexist.
It's chauvinist. We're losing track.
She decided to make these fucking sandwiches.
Which brings up a kind of a good point regarding roles and money. For example, if my girlfriend was the breadwinner in the house, she could be like, look, I'm not doing anything until you suck on my clit, you know, a couple of times a month. Like, it can be reversed. It doesn't have to be sucking dick. It depends on who has the power in a lot of ways.
Leave the clitoris.
I guess. It does, though.
But it could be a duty. It could be his husbandly duty.
His husband could, yeah. It all depends on who has the power and which way you want to go.
But I get, at the end of the day, communication and what works best for you guys. I hate that there was so much backlash to it. That she's like sending the women's movement back 20 years. Like, she's making a damn sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
Calm down.
Better to do. Yeah,
She's still working. It's not like she's barefoot and pregnant and you don't sleep. A lot of women would prefer to just be barefoot and pregnant, chilling at the crib.
Yeah.
Y'all need to stop playing.
And there's no chilling.
Stop playing.
There's no chilling.
I'm not chilling, but like at least not working outside the house.
I know.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I think she's made approximately like 170 sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's around 170.
Yeah.
No, stay your ass
So
up here.
again, it's what works best for you guys. Now they're dating. So speaking of dating, there was another story that was circulating this week, which Peppur is going to tell us about.
I'm going to talk to you about this guy, Romeo Rose. How fantastic is Romeo Rose?
He's a nightmare.
He's a nightmare. So he, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on about him, but again, it goes back to Gawker and BuzzFeed and how they picked up this guy who posted an ad saying that I will pay $1,500 to a person who will help me find a date. Well, okay.
Find a girlfriend. He wants to find a girlfriend.
I'm sorry, find a girlfriend. That
He's
is
hideous, by the way.
Can I
He's
read?
not attractive, and it's very important that, yes, read.
Well, I just want to read the Gawker headline.
Oh, sure,
to help you out. So the Gawker headline is: Racist Romeo willing to pay for non-fat, non-slut, non-black girlfriend. Yeah.
So the nons, that was a problem that everyone had a problem with, but it's interesting that this guy, what I find too, which I'm sure we'll talk about more, is that this is not his first foray into doing this. And
oh, that's right.
And he's, you know, he lives in Austin, Texas.
Peppur did some research.
Yeah, I did some research. I got very involved in this Romeo Rose, very involved. And he, you know, besides the fact that he calls himself not a racist, but yet he doesn't like black lady parts.
Even if you look like Halle Berry, he doesn't want to date you.
Yeah,
if you're a white woman that has been with a black man, he says, I would never touch you. That's disgusting.
Disgusting.
But I'm not a racist.
Yeah. I think it was even more than disgusting. Anyway, so
bestiality. I think he.
Yeah, I think he said it was bestiality. Actually,
because he said black men look like apes.
Yeah, definitely he did.
That's
say
what he said.
He looks like a pure Neanderthal.
He does. It's disturbing how he looks, even though he has this great.
He looks like
smile.
Andre's Giant.
Andre's Giant. Yeah.
But I think it's so interesting about this, though, is that all the people that have rallied in opposition to this guy, like as much as we keep hearing in the comments of how people really are racist these days and people really do hate lots of people, it's interesting how many people have been like, I would never date you if you were the last man on the world, blah, blah, blah. But that's what I think is really the bigger story here. Because the fact that so many people are saying how horrible of a person he is. You know,
But I think there's something to be said about his honesty, because a lot of people they would be afraid to voice their opinions on, because there are white guys that will not. I know a guy who told me he read some statistics on HIV, and he read at some point that black women were in this particular group where it was growing, and he's like he wouldn't go out, he wouldn't fuck a black woman.
You know what?
Sure.
You're doing me a favor.
Yeah.
Your dude and Romeo.
Exactly.
Right. I want to add, he also had a weight issue, and that wasn't just black women.
Oh, no,
like, if you weigh
over 130 pounds.
130 pounds, that's your limit.
Right.
130 and down, he's good. 131, it's a wrap.
And it's only black. He'll date Latinas.
It
is only black.
130 pounds.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. He did a Huffington Post Live. He did an interview on Huffington Post Live with, I forgot the woman's name, but she's a little
Chunky. I know the one you're talking about.
Right.
She's a thick girl.
She's not 130, okay?
No, she's not.
Very pretty girl, very pretty. And so she asked him, she was like, so am I grotesque to you? Am I considered obese to you? And he kind of paused and hesitated and was like, I mean, you know, I you. So what's interesting watching the interview, he's crazy. Like, I mean, for me, that's where it begins and ends. He's fucking nuts.
And he's violent. I mean, they're through. I was on Reddit and I found more information on him, and he has a restraining order against him from the 11-year girlfriend that he mentions.
Oh wow!
So people found all this information. His name is actually, I believe, Larry something or other, and he's been out there doing stuff, and he does a lot of ranting and raving, and he's kind of a violent person as well. So it's crazy that he is so crazy, but he's getting all of this fame now, of course.
Which brings me to my point, which is I don't know why he's getting so much attention. I don't know why everybody was talking about him on Facebook. I almost did not comment, but I felt bad, so I
It's
commented.
because of how blatantly ignorant the things he said. That's why
But it's like,
attention.
F him, why do you even care? He's an idiot.
Yeah,
don't even care.
I think it's
You don't hear people ever say the things that he said,
Right.
though. That's why it got so much
And
attention.
kept expounding upon them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he was like, I don't date black women. He's like, you can look like Halle Berry. I don't want you if you slept with a black man.
I actually laughed. As I read it, I did laugh. I laughed when I read it.
But that's why I think it's so interesting that the world, I don't know, the community has gone against him. It could be very much like you said. There are a lot of people that do think like him.
Oh yeah, I totally believe that.
So it's interesting. It's not even equal in terms of all those other people saying like, no, this guy is right. You're hearing so many people saying this guy is wrong.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Because certain things you're not supposed to say. Now I'll give you a good example. We experienced this in the black.
Lady parts?
No, we experienced this within black culture. Okay. All right. Tina could come up to me and she could be like, yeah, I don't really fuck with light skinned dudes. Like I like them dark. I like my niggas chocolate, fucking mocha. Now if I go to her, I say, yeah, I don't be fucking with them darkies. Like
He gonna get his ass beat.
Exactly. But the thing is, I have female friends who have a preference for light skinned black dudes. Now, do I tell them something's wrong with them? And people have preferences. But some of them fall within something that could be questioned in terms of political correctness. So a lot of times people keep that to themselves.
There's a lot of pathology in the human race.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to bring him up only because it was making the rounds on all the social media sites, and we were talking about on Facebook and Huffington Post, like all the major sites just kind of posted about him because it's such an outlandish story. But as Tina pointed out in the day, who the fuck cares? He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you they're crazy, pay attention. That's
Yeah.
it. Ladies,
It's true.
run from
Pay
him.
As long as y'all don't date them, we good.
Yeah, exactly. So, last remarks. Peppur? Okay.
Did you say hi?
Right.
I did. No, and you know what? That's my last remark in terms of that Emmy, Merritt, what's her name?
The woman nurse.
Yeah, from
Nurse Jackie.
I watched Nurse Jackie
She
too.
went for Nurse
She
Jackie,
deserved it.
and she was not prepared at all for her winning Emmy speech, and so she said, I have to go. Thank you.
It was excellent.
It was perfect.
And if I was her too, because she totally, I wouldn't have thought I was gonna win either if I was her.
She did
Because
not. I mean, of all the women, she was again.
Yes.
She's not amazing herself.
She was the least likely.
The least likely. She was like, "Thank you. I have to go."
It was excellent.
It was excellent.
Tina.
Say a prayer or put love out to someone that you have an issue with. Someone that bothers you, that gets on your nerves. Take 30 seconds and send them love and wish them well.
Really?
Yeah, someone you have an issue with.
Antoine.
Pray that I don't kill this fucking cat in the next week.
Wow.
That's those are my closing remarks. Look at him.
The animal.
This is a fucking demon. Look at those eyes.
Oh my god.
It's demonic.
I'm gonna send a prayer out for the cat.
Exactly.
On that note,
That makes
thank you.
sense.
Come back. We're beeping.